Welcome back to another F1 Clash tournament. Today it's all about Series 5, and it's actually quite a unique series because it's the only series where all we unlock is common drivers. So if you're currently racing in Series 5, you might be asking yourself, are these common drivers any good? Which drivers should I go with? Which drivers are maybe not such a good choice? And that's exactly what I want to learn more about today by having all the drivers duel it out World Cup style. So this is the lineup we're looking at for today. And there you'll find all the drivers from Series 5, but also some of the drivers from prior series that you might want to consider, like Isaac Hadjar, Jack Doohan, or Oliver Behrman. So that's the mission for today. Let's see which driver comes out on top and gets crowned the Series 5 champion. But first, as always, let's take a look at our car.
What are we driving?
Okay, so looking at the car for Series 5, if you want any recommendations, then this is what I would recommend you go with, or at least that's what I went with in Series 5. But there are two car parts where the decision isn't that straightforward, and I think both alternatives are valid. And that's for one with the brakes. You could also go with the Supernova brakes. There is one speed track in Series 5, and there you would definitely be quicker with the Supernova brakes. And the other thing is the gearbox. I'm going with Fury. The slick shift also isn't bad because 3 of the tracks are about power unit, and this could be slightly better, but I would make that decision for both these parts depending on the level. Like if you already have slick shift leveled pretty high and just unlocked Fury in Series 5, it's probably not going to be better. But once you level it a bit, I think Fury is better. But there, with the brakes and the gearbox, I think you could go either way. But this is what we're going with for today. So now let's head to the first race. And the first race in this Series 5 tournament takes place between Isaac Hadjar and Jack Doohan. Actually, no Series 5 drivers yet, but I think this could be a very interesting duel because if you've seen my Series 4 tournament, these two drivers were very close. Okay, so it's an entire wet race, so that makes it a bit difficult. So tire strategy is going to be probably on the side of Jack Doohan. So this is going to probably be decided in the first 2 laps once they make the first pit stop. As always, I want to treat each of the drivers as fair as possible. I'm not going to boost any of them. Okay, so let's see. Wow, Hadjar with a fast start. Jack Doohan, it said good start, but he took a while to get going. Okay, so Hadjar already did the overtake. Very interesting. Not what I thought how it would play out, but I'm going to keep pushing them for now. Not actually... Okay, Jack Doohan back in the lead. This could be interesting. So we're seeing that rivalry from the last tournament where it was already very close. So I don't even know if I can push Hadjar as much. We can already see his tires are down to 70%, and Doohan still has a bit more. So I'm going to stop pushing now. Okay, Hadjar now falling back. Down to P6. Doohan in P3. Wow, what happened there? I really thought Hadjar could pull a surprise on us and actually beat him. Like, all he had to do was keep the position for another lap. Okay, so now we can see tires are just barely holding up 2 laps with Hadjar. So I can push Doohan a bit more, which I'm gonna do here. Alright, and also have DRS. Well, it's not really powerful at Singapore. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is Hadjar... Actually, no, I'm going to give Hadjar a chance to do the overtake. Actually, I think I can't push him anymore because of the tires. So he's not going to do the overtake, so I'm going to put him in power save mode because that's the best thing I can do for Hadjar now because it's probably going to be a double stack. So by doing that, I can at least make that double stack a bit less worse for Hadjar. Oh wow, tires actually held up better than I thought. Okay, but I think that was already the loss. Yeah, those are a lot of seconds that Hadjar lost there. Wow, interesting. Not how I thought this would go. Yeah, it all was decided in the first couple laps. So looks like Jack Doohan is going to take the victory. Okay, we're in the last lap, and the saved up energy with Hadjar could be starting to pay off. He actually is gaining on Jack Doohan because in that middle stint I didn't push Hadjar at all. So now Jack Doohan down to P4, or couldn't do the overtake. Hadjar can still push. Doohan now can't push anymore. So it's getting, again, closer than I thought between these two. And imagine this is happening while Hadjar lost the pit stop duel. But yeah, he's not going to do it. But incredibly close. Incredibly close. Jack doing P4, Hadjar P5. Man, I thought, you know, in Series 4, they were already incredibly close. But there, Hadjar had the overtaking advantage, where all Series 4 tracks are about overtaking. And here, it's not about overtaking anymore, so I thought Jack Doohan would win easily, but it was, again, very close. But in the end, Jack Doohan did come out victorious, and that now means Hadjar is retiring from these tournaments, and Jack Doohan now heads to the next round of this tournament. And race number 2 takes place between Oliver Bearman from Series 3 and our first Series 5 driver in this tournament, Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen is better at qualifying, which he did manage to use, but not as much as I thought he would. Oh, and his tire management is worse. Okay, Imola, wow. So Max Verstappen actually needs to go medium, medium, medium. Or actually, you know, I'm gonna go hard, medium, soft, just so to avoid the double stack and give Verstappen the best chance of winning. But yeah, as you can probably already tell, I don't think he will. So my bet is on Bearman for this race. He has the good race start. Verstappen, poor race start. Wow. Okay. So I wanted to try and build some suspense by saying how Verstappen is better at qualifying and is better at defending, and maybe he can use that to his advantage, you know, qualify ahead of him, then defend his position, but not at all what is happening. Bearman is up to P2 and Verstappen down to P8, and that's exactly why Oliver Bearman is still in this tournament. I raced with him in Series 5 still, although he's from Series 3, and yeah, he never really disappointed me. So yeah, not surprised that he's beating Verstappen, but I didn't expect it to be this much. But let's see, you know, how the race plays out. I'll keep you posted. Maybe Verstappen can do better, although right now he's just losing more and more positions. But yeah, let's fast forward in the race. Okay, so Max Verstappen is about to start the final lap. There you go. But yeah, Bearman is almost about to end the final lap, so it's not like they're even in the same race. Although, yeah, it would have probably better to go one stint with the medium, because he can just barely do it with the softs, and is now about to be overtaken. No! Down to P4. Yeah, actually my rival is also going with Bearman and Verstappen, so I don't know if he's also filming a Series 5 tournament, but we can see that even if someone else races them, Bearman always wins. And Verstappen heads home in 12th, so yeah, I never used Verstappen in Series 5, and this is exactly why. That wasn't even a challenge for Bearman. Like, yeah, easy victory for Bearman, and that means he moves on to the next round of this tournament. And the third race in this tournament, it's going to be about qualifying versus race start. Russell with a way better qualifying and Alonso with a way better race start. Let's see, Russell putting that qualifying stat to good use, qualifying in P2, but I have a feeling how this is going to play out. Okay, another wet race. Seems like we're going to get wet with maybe a transition in the last couple laps, so could be interesting. I'm going to try and keep it fair between the two drivers. For now, I don't have a choice with the tire strategy. I hope Alonso can even do the 2 laps. We'll see how it plays out. His tire management is worse than Russell. But okay, race start versus qualifying. Let's see what Alonso can do. Russell poor, Alonso fast race start, and he's gaining on him. Oh, but Alonso getting stuck in traffic. Not looking good for Alonso so far. I'm going to push both of them for now. So Alonso not doing the overtake yet, but race start advantage is for the entire first lap. So yeah, Alonso for this first lap is going to have a boost, which is going to be really important because they are both on the same tire strategy. So Alonso, if you're going to make that overtake, you do want to do it this lap, and there he goes. I pushed them both. I kept it fair. Same chances for both of them. Okay, and now Alonso is gaining on, or yeah, increasing that gap. And his tires do seem to hold up for the entire 2 laps. Okay, very interesting. There we saw race start versus qualifying. I actually think Alonso could have done even better. I think he got kind of stuck in traffic there. But yeah, there you go. I think I generally prefer drivers with a better race start over drivers with... well, I'm pitting them both here, so now I'm going to put Russell into conserve to give him the best chance to at least gain some energy while Alonso is pushing to not make the double stack that bad. You know, trying to do the best for each of the drivers. Yeah, I prefer the race start over qualifying, but especially in Series 5 where it is about race start, I was kind of expecting this to happen, but I am amazed that he did it in the first lap. So let's see how bad the double stack is. Bad, but not too bad. So maybe Russell could come back at the end, but I personally don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, let's fast forward to the end of the race to see how things play out. Okay, and Russell is now starting his final lap, and it's not looking good for Russell. He is in P4, but the gap to Alonso is quite big, and I used all the energy that I saved with him. Now I can push both of them for this last stint. Now the rain has stopped, actually at a pretty not so great time, but I still think that wet tires are the way to go, and even if not, I want to keep it fair, so I'm just staying on the wets with both of them. And yeah, Alonso is very likely going to come out victorious. Yeah, the gap is quite big. Russell couldn't really close the gap. And kind of what I expected, Alonso, he has there's a pretty strong argument, a pretty high chance that Alonso will actually win this tournament because he has a great race start stat. And that's what we saw in the race, even against a great qualifier like Russell. So, in this first race, Alonso comes out victorious and moves on to the next round of this tournament. Okay, in race number 4, it's Lando Norris versus Lewis Hamilton, and they are pretty closely matched, but Hamilton does have the better race start stat. However, his race start is slower, so maybe that's the chance. That's the one race where Lando Norris can win. So Hamilton better at overtaking, Lando Norris better at defending, I think it was. But race start, that's the important stat for Series 5, and there Hamilton is slightly better. So I think Hamilton is going to win this, but it could be quite close. And they are both on the soft tire strategy, so it's probably going to be decided in the first 3 laps. So whoever gets the pit stop first is going to win, and it is very close, but the first lap is about to end. Oh, Lando Norris couldn't make the overtake. First lap is now ending. That means Lando Norris loses the race start boost. Although he has the worst stat, so I guess there's always a bit of luck to it. But yeah, Hamilton is in the lead. P7, Lando Norris P9. And I don't think Lando Norris is going to do the overtake. Actually going to use DRS here. Oh, what? Tires? I can't push them anymore. Lando Norris has slightly better tire management, as it seems. Okay, I'm gonna have to save Hamilton, and I don't know. Do I have to save Norris as well? Ooh, this just got a bit trickier than I thought. So Norris tires are a bit better, so I'm gonna save Hamilton until the tires are at the same level. I think now they're close enough, so putting Hamilton on medium again. And despite Hamilton being on power save mode, Lando Norris couldn't make the overtake. Oh, they're both going to run out of tires. Okay, wait, then I'm quickly going to switch to medium with both of them. But it's not going to make a difference in terms of the duel. Yeah, this is like worst case scenario for Lando Norris. I think he had a chance to overtake Hamilton. Hamilton had to save power and all that. But yeah, now that was the most extreme double stack you could have. So obviously I wouldn't race like this if I were just racing for the best team result. I'm just racing like this for the tournament's sake, to try and give each driver the best chance at winning. And in this case, it looks like the victory is going to go to Hamilton, but we'll see at the end of the race. Okay, last lap is now starting for Lando Norris, but Hamilton is ahead, or stayed ahead. So yeah, Lando Norris couldn't really close the gap, or I think the gap became even bigger, which makes sense. Hamilton does have the higher race start stat, which is the important stat for Series 5. I personally didn't race with either of these drivers in Series 5. If I would have to go with one of them, it would be Hamilton, so it makes sense that he also wins this race because his race start stat is okay, but I'm not expecting Hamilton to get to the final round of this tournament. But we will find out, because that is now the end of the first round, the first layer of this tournament. And there, Hamilton emerges victorious and heads to round 2. Now let's see how stage 2 of this tournament plays out. Okay, and the first race of round 2 of this tournament takes place between Jack Doohan and Oliver Bearman. Let's see, race start is the important stat, and Bearman has the better race start, but gets stuck in traffic, which can just happen in F1 Clash, you know, that's a well-known issue. I think it's an issue, it doesn't feel that great. So race start is the important stat, Bearman has the better race start stat, got the better race start, but yeah, it didn't really play out like that. So that means Jack Doohan is in the lead after lap 1, Jack Doohan in P3. Oh, but tires going to be an issue. I can't push him much more. They are on a different tire strategy because Jack Doohan's tire management is just better. So yeah, it's going to play out, or it's going to be a battle until the end of the race, which, considering that Bearman couldn't really use his better race start, is probably going to be good for Bearman. So these are the two remaining drivers in this tournament that aren't actually from Series 5. Two very strong contenders to go with in Series 5. I personally think, or I think Bearman is a very strong contender. I personally don't like Doohan. Oh, and his tires are not looking good. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, so I'm going to have to conserve him for this last lap and then probably do a medium stint. So that's... It says that he can do 3 laps. I thought he could. Obviously, I didn't test this prior to this. But oh well, we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be a battle until the end. I think Bearman should win this. He has the better race start stat. But yeah, we will find out. Okay, it's not the last lap yet, but we could see an overtake here. Oh, yes! Okay, so they both have energy. They both have enough tires. Doohan has a bit more tires, so I'm going to push them both to keep it fair. Bearman does another overtake. His overtaking stat is better. Oh, Bearman now has DRS. Okay, so he's going to really gap him on this next straight. Tires for both of them are looking good. I'm not going to push on the straight, but now Bearman can use DRS. But get stuck! Get stuck behind, what was it, Tsunoda? I don't know. Okay, now I'm going to keep pushing them. So Doohan will have DRS one more time and has more energy. Will it be enough to close that gap, though? I don't think it will. So, yeah, this... Oh, no, I use it slightly too... No, that's good. That's okay. But ran out of energy. Okay, and Bearman comes out on top in P3. Jack Doohan, close enough, P5. So, I'll admit, it wasn't perfect. You know, Bearman lost like 1 or 2 seconds due to his tires, but he had the better tire strategy with soft, medium. So, I'll roll with it. You know, I think it wasn't that big of a loss. And that means that Jack Doohan loses out and Bearman heads to the final round of this tournament. Okay, and the next race takes place between the two best Series 5 drivers, Alonso and Hamilton, who qualified very close to each other, but Alonso way better race start. Hamilton falling behind, losing a lot of positions down to P11. Alonso gained no positions, is back to P7, or down to P7 now, I think. So I'm going to keep pushing both of them. It is another wet race at Singapore, sadly, not what I would prefer, so I can't really make it fair between these two. But yeah, they are the two best drivers of Series 5, but I think Alonso is way better. He has the better race start. The only thing Alonso doesn't have going for him is the tire management. But I think you have to work around it because his race start is just so much better, and that's exactly what we saw play out here again. So although Hamilton's race start isn't terrible compared to the other Series 5 drivers, Alonso's is way better. Yeah, and although they qualified right next to each other, Alonso is now up to P5 and Hamilton P13. So I don't even think there's going to be a double stack, to be honest. I think Hamilton is so far behind, yeah, that's not going to be an issue. So looks like it's going to be easy victory for Alonso, but we'll only know once it actually happens. So we'll see how it plays out. Okay, and now we're in the last couple corners and the track has completely dried out, and Alonso actually made it to the first place, so it's going to be an easy victory for him. Let's watch him cross over the line. There you go. And Alonso is right in the mix, not that far behind, but enough to be down to P11. So yeah, I can't really say it was close, you know. They didn't even double stack, although they were on the same tire strategy. So easy victory for Alonso. And that means we now have the standing for the final duel in this tournament, and that's between Alonso and Oliver Bearman from Series 3. Who would have thought? Okay, it's time for the final duel of this tournament to see who's going to be your #1 driver in Series 5. Is it going to be Alonso or Bearman? Qualifying incredibly close. So let's have a look at the tire management here. Oh, they both can't do 3 stops on the medium and on the soft. Okay, so Alonso qualified in front, so I'll give him the medium strategy, which I think is going to be quickest. And then with Bearman, I'm going to go soft, medium, hard, just to avoid the double stack. Yeah, let's see how it plays out. Going to be interesting. Alonso does have the better race start, so he should be pulling away from Bearman, although Bearman has the soft tires, so let's see. Alonso, perfect race start as always, but Bearman average, and he has the soft tire. I'm going to just push both of them for a bit here. So Alonso up to P2, Bearman P3, not far behind, but struggling to hold that position, but he got back to P3. Okay, Alonso P2, Bearman P3, but Alonso pulling ahead slightly. Gonna stop pushing them now just to assess the tire management. Alonso, 3 stops should be good. Bearman, 2 stops should be good. Okay, so I can push them. So, first lap, Alonso slightly in the lead, so now he's losing his race start advantage. Or at least the first lap race start advantage. So, this could be really close. Yeah, #1 driver. I always thought it would be Bearman, but I just had another look at the stats, and it's actually not looking too bad for Alonso. Has pretty good stats, and of course has the better race start stat, which is the important stat for Series 5. So, yeah, should be a pretty close race, and we'll see how it plays out. I mean, they're not going to double stack, so it's going to be a race until the end, or for the entire 9 laps. Okay, they both did their first pit stop. They're both on the medium tire right now, and Bearman to P4, Alonso now in P1. That of course Bearman P3. That of course means that Alonso can't use DRS, which could be Bearman's advantage, but right now he also doesn't have DRS. Just use it on the last straight. Okay, now Bearman back to P2. Okay, so it's staying close. Bearman can use DRS once this lap, and then he's going to go for his hard set of tires, which is of course also the slowest set. So in that last stint, Alonso will have a tire advantage. Okay, so luckily Alonso can now use DRS once. That's pretty good for him. And Bearman back to P2, so he's staying there, but now Alonso has the tire advantage, so... And Alonso has more energy, which I'm going to deploy, yeah, as soon as the last lap starts. But even with Bearman having DRS, I actually don't think he's going to do it. Very interesting. Okay, so Alonso now about to start the final lap with 100% energy. So he could push even more. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. And Bearman... Actually, I can't push him too much with the tires. So that's the tire disadvantage I was talking about. Alonso can push, so yeah, he has it in the bag. Of course, level is going to be a thing. My Alonso is level 6. My Bearman is also level 6. But that, of course, won't be the case when you're starting Series 5, so keep that in mind. But Alonso still emerges victorious and wins the Series 5 tournament against Bearman. Bearman P3, you know, not too bad, but oh, Now at the end, the gap actually was quite big once those hard tires did their thing for Behrman. All right, so that's how the Series 5 tournament played out. Not really how I expected it. I thought Oliver Behrman could win it again, but yeah, Alonso with a great race start stat. Makes sense that he came out victorious and is the Series 5 champion. But yeah, now I kind of want to reflect on the results, give my thoughts and opinions and kind of advice on what you should maybe consider when picking your drivers for Series 5. So I would definitely go with Oliver Behrman. You already have him unlocked at the beginning of Series 5, I would hope. And we saw in this tournament that he's great, so definitely go with him. And then as your second driver, once you unlock him, definitely go with Alonso. I think even at level 1, it could be worth it, but I mean, he's a common driver, so odds are you're going to level him quite quickly. But until you don't have Alonso, the question is kind of, do you go with Jack Doohan or probably Isaac Hadjar? I think would be the best bet, because we saw how close it was between Jack Doohan and Isaac Hadjar again, even in Series 5. So if you have Jack Doohan leveled to a similar level as Hadjar, then as we saw in this tournament, go with Jack Doohan. But if you see my Series 4 tournament, then you know that I kind of just skipped leveling Jack Doohan and just took Hadjar for the beginning of Series 5 until I unlocked Alonso, and then I replaced Hadjar with Alonso. So I hope you enjoyed this tournament, and I hope that this video helps you make those crucial decisions in Series 5. So best of luck to you racing in Series 5, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Wolaceum out.